If you had a choice between a Corvette or a Jaguar, which would you take? Hi, it's Bud Wilkinson. Today it's a story on a 1968 Jaguar E-Type 2+2.
The iconic Jaguar is dark blue in color and has had the same owner, Craig Megargle of Fairfield, Connecticut, for 55 years. He bought it used in 1971 by default.
I was in the Navy at the time, and young, single, had a few dollars in my pocket, and so I was looking to buy a Corvette. Went by a Corvette dealer, and he was closed that day, so I went down the street in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and I bought this Jaguar. Paid $39.50 for it. Originally sold for $4,500.
He had the necessary money available.
Had signed a extension in the Navy, and they told me they were going to pay me $10,000. So I had that in the queue, and had a few dollars anyway, so it worked out.
What possessed you to buy a Jaguar? They weren't that well known here. They were British. Need I say more? What possessed you?
It just so happens that my first ship that I was assigned to was the USS Daniel Boone. It was a ballistic missile sub, and two guys in my division, not only were they electronics guys, but they were also motorheads. And a friend of mine, him and I they had bought a house, and a friend of mine, we rented a room from them. So between the four of us, we had a Corvette, two Jaguars, a MGB, a school bus, and a truck, a pickup. And the other guy that owned the Jaguar had bought it body, block, and boxes of engine parts and rebuilt it. So I felt he was a mechanic that would help me out, and he did on numerous occasions.
The Jaguar got a lot of use early on.
So I drove it every day when I was in the service, except obviously when I was at sea. Got out of the Navy and went to work for a computer company in Massachusetts, and I drove it every day there until 77, 78. I got married. I got a job where I required shall we say, a more reliable car, more cost-effective car, and so that got put in a garage and drove it off and on until the 90s, and then it sat in a garage for 30 plus years, and then about 3.5 years ago started a restoration project on it.
The restoration took 1.5 years, done by Motor Cars Incorporated in Plainville, Connecticut, but didn't include the body or interior.
Basically, the whole undercarriage, the entire rear end, the entire front end, from the firewall forward has been rebuilt. The engine, just work on the heads and gaskets and so forth. Rebuilt the transmission, the clutch.
The XKE is powered by a 4.2-liter straight-six engine and has a 4-speed manual transmission.
Engine reliability has been outstanding. It's everything else British Leyland that becomes issues on the car.
Yes, it drives like a sports car.
It kind of spoiled me, because when I bought the car in 1971, it had rack and pinion steering, it didn't have power steering, it had all-wheel disc brakes, it had adequate power and so forth. It was a pleasure to drive. It hugged the road like nothing I've ever driven before. And it cruised very nicely at 80 miles an hour, so it was very nice to drive. It still is, except for the no power steering.
You're looking out the windscreen, and it looks like the deck of an aircraft carrier in front of you. Do you ever get to a point where you have some idea where the front end ends?
Not really. As age sets in and you become more mature, you realize that whatever you think, give it another foot or two. I've had several minor scrapes with, and usually not me, but where people have come a little bit too close or actually touched the front of the car. There's a couple of little nicks there that you can see from those activities.
Do many people remember this model, or is it an eye-opener?
It's very much an eye-opener. In fact, my wife and I were constantly amazed at the attention that it gets. I mean, and especially I would suggest people under 35, maybe even 40, their first question is, what kind of car is this? You know, which comes as a shock to us. But I think also the dark blue, it's got that kind of sleekness, and people are always taking pictures, stopping and looking at it when we're just out and about, which is, we try to get it out once a week during the summer.
Did you ever give any thought to just getting rid of it?
I almost sold it once and then chickened out at the last minute. But no, I was going to hang on to it, and now my daughter's going to get the car when I can't drive it anymore.
That's my ride. In Fairfield, Connecticut for CT Insider, I'm Bud Wilkinson.